Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 152 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied by co-host Nick and producer Vince. Guys, I have to say, this might just be the best hockey we've seen in quite a long time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the best episode, because I thought you said that last week.
No, like the teams that don't have rivalries are suddenly creating rivalries. And I'm talking about like Anaheim, Toronto, Minnesota and the Rangers, San Jose, Boston. Like the hockey is fast, it's exhilarating. There's comebacks, there's big hits, there's like crazy saves. It's absolutely amazing time to be a hockey fan. And it just makes everything really exciting. And if you really like hockey and you're listening to this and you don't do fantasy hockey just yet, there ain't no better time than now.
I mean, if you're listening to this and you don't do fantasy hockey, I have no idea. You pressed the wrong button on the search bar. Maybe you're looking for some other type of fantasy. You might be a little bit lost.
But we appreciate it. But Nick, stop it. But we appreciate it.
We appreciate the listen. And, the boys here have mentioned a few times of some streaking going on. And maybe that's a different kind of fantasy you're looking for, you know? It's just not... This is fantasy hockey here. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you want to reemphasize that one more time in case?
Fantasy hockey, you know? It's Partial Breakaway Podcast, fantasy hockey. Also, 66% of you that listen are actually not following us on YouTube. So if you want to go over there and click the quick follow button, it would really help out the show a lot. And we do appreciate those of you that have done it. Also, another thing is, guys, we bring up a bunch of discussions on this podcast. We want to make this as interactive as humanly possible. So if you guys don't mind commenting on some of these episodes and giving us your feedback, I think, Junior, we had a few nice ones last week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
our questions of the day were pretty successful, I have to say. We didn't do one every day. Maybe we should have. But the mystery player the Montreal Canadiens were after generated a lot of attention. In fact, we got like 42 comments on that, which is great for us. The Jacob Fowler one also generated some attention. And we had another question on Lafreniere as well. All topics that we're going to discuss this week in the Odd Man Rush. I mean, we asked for your take. Now you're going to hear ours. So basically, these questions of the days are going to be posted on X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Partial Break Pod. Be sure to follow us there, like and subscribe on YouTube, and give us a follow and leave us a review on any audio podcast platform you choose.
All right. Should we start the Odd Man Rush?
Let's go. All right, let's start it with the 5-game suspension of Radko Gudas. Before I continue, let me remind you all that this is the Odd Man Rush, where we take news, notes, and trends of the NHL and turn them into 30-second takes.
You just got excited
last
there.
3 minutes, I did. I feel like this is going to be a good Odd Man Rush. This segment is sponsored by Sportira. You can visit the website at www.sportira.com for all your apparel and team uniform needs. Give them a follow on Instagram at sportira.apparel. All right, like I said, we start with the 5-game suspension of Radko Gudas for that kneeing incident on Austin Matthews, who we know now is out for the season with a tear in his MCL and quad contusion. So the question was going to be, does Matthews play another game this year? But we know he won't. But the question is, what did you guys make of the hit? And was that potentially his last game as a Leaf? Let's start with you, Vince.
Wow, that one dark really fast. Like, the hit on Matthews. Listen, it was a dirty hit. It was he stuck out the leg. It was intentional for him to hit some part of Matthew. It was intentional to hit exactly the knee. No, but he stuck out his knee. It was intentional. Um, we see how deep the problems going to Toronto with the reaction of Matthews getting hit. Like after he got hit, now what? Like I don't care who it is. It could be Andre the Giant that hit him. Someone needs to go and just at least bear hug him or something. But no one even went close to him. He walked out with his misconduct. Like it was just ridiculous. Your captain, you're the superstar of your team, gets hit, a dirty hit, and there's no reaction from the players. I think that's the more worrisome part than the suspension. I don't talk about suspensions in the NHL because I do think they're ridiculous. I think for you to have an enforcer who's in charge of an ex-enforcer to be in charge of discipline, I think is just bad news. It makes no sense to me. So I think some of the suspensions this year have been ridiculous and deserved either more or less. Like you don't even know how much someone's gonna get when something like this happens. So, um, but yeah, I feel the reaction of Toronto worried me a lot. Do I think it's Matthews' last game? No. Do I think Matthews is going to resign with Toronto after 2 years? I'm questioning it. Did they have 2 years? You know how we always said Edmonton has 2 years to prove to McDavid that they're going to do something. I think Toronto is in the same boat with Matthews. I don't think Matthews is in love with Toronto. Uh, I don't think he's a John Tavares. Like the I'll take a discount to be in Toronto.
Sleeps in his Leafs
He
pajamas.
leaves pajamas. So I believe they have 2 years to prove to Austin Matthews that they're competing, and if not, I don't think he'll be resigning with them.
Well, Vince's 30-second take went way over 3 minutes there, but
It's about
um,
Toronto.
I'm gonna leave the suspension part out of it. I'm gonna leave the Gudas part out of it. Obviously, nobody wants to see an injury of this type to this caliber player. Whether you're a Leaf fan and you want to tank or not, but in the end, this does kind of help their tanking moving forward. It gives a significant bump to Tavares fantasy wise, and this is a fantasy podcast, so I'm going to stick to how this helps. And Tavares is going to see a bump fantasy wise. William Nylander and Matthew Knies have actually been doing pretty well the last couple of games. I was a little bit worried about them without a Matthews there centering the Knies line. Um, we have Bo Gru, who's been uh, coming in and actually looking pretty decent as a player.
Two
Hopefully
goals
they
tonight.
hopefully they continue uh, giving him a chance and an opportunity now that there's a little bit less depth in that center role. Morgan Riley with a goal, which is surprising. So um, look, moving forward, Toronto wants to get down on the bottom, better chances at the lottery, and to keep their own pick, and they have to make sure that they're within those five bottom spots in order to keep their own pick. So it's going to be tough to get there. We'll see. I know a lot of Toronto fans that are friends of ours. They think they're going to just end up with the number 6 pick and give it to Boston. So that's just the way Toronto goes sometimes. Um, but wishing the best for Matthews.
I think. I mean, it was a long time ago. It feels like it was a long time ago right now. But Kadri is the type of player that would have been nice having in a situation like that. He always finished his checks. He always made sure to pass the message down. He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the toughest, but he was a guy who cared about the logo, who cared about the aggressive play, and I feel like that's what's something that the Leafs have been missing quite a bit as of late. I think that might go down as one of the biggest mistakes they've done since they've had this nucleus of players, this core, if you will. And he was on such a good contract too at the time. I think when they look back at it, they might think that was one of their biggest mistakes. Moving on, Jacob Fowler. He got called up this week, steals a win for the Habs versus the rival Senators. He's currently in a 3-3 tie as we speak versus the Ducks. Is he the second coming of Patrick Roy, or does he still need time to season, Nick? This was the question of the day on our social medias this week, and a lot of people are being cautious. Basically, the summary of the comments were just, he might be, but let's just let him take his time to get there. Nick, how do you feel about Jacob Fowler? Basically, what this means also is like the reason Patrick Roy was mentioned and Nick mentioned Patrick Roy is just because the Canadians are having big time goaltending problems, and Jacob Fowler might be the solution. And can he go on a crazy playoff run to help the Canadians? Go ahead, Nick.
So, this is not going to be a very popular take for Montreal Canadiens fans, and I might get some heat for this, but I don't think Jacob Fowler is necessarily ready right now. He comes up with a big save at the big times during a game, and I will absolutely give him that. And he looks good in 1, 2, or 3 game sample sizes. But the fact of the matter is that he's not going to consistently. I believe he's not going to be consistently good in the NHL right now as a 21-year-old goaltender, and that consistency could hurt us when it comes to playoffs, especially if a lot of people are talking about him potentially being the number one starter in the playoffs, which I did hear some people say that already. Look, he has a 50% quality start percentage. That's one game he's good, one game he's not. His goals against average is actually pretty decent at 2.68, but he only has a 902 save percentage. 12 games played, only 5 wins. These are things that don't give me a lot of confidence right now. I still think he's going to be a great goaltender. I just don't know if right now at 21 years old is the time that he will be a great goaltender. And maybe the Habs don't care because they might turn around and say, well, we know we're not winning the cup this year, and this year is just about experience. So if that's the case, yes. I just don't want to burn his confidence if he goes into the playoffs and eats 5 or 6 goals from Tampa Bay or whomever we play in the first round.
Vince, anything you want to add?
I hate comparisons to. I hate people make comparisons to great
Hey,
players.
blame your co-host.
Yeah, it's like the
Sorry,
basketball.
Tony Marinaro said it.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Tony Marinaro.
What's his
like
name? Oh man, I'm forgetting
like
his name.
I understand that the Habs are in a good situation. They're in a playoff spot. They're in a good situation. Fans want to believe that they have this chance of the East is wide open and all they need is a bit of goaltending to make it far in the East. But you can't even put Patrick Roy's name into next to Fowler's at any point right now. It's like NBA players putting their names next to Michael Jordan. You just can't. It's just they've accomplished so much that their names shouldn't be mentioned together. Fowler, can he be the next big thing in Montreal? Can he be the next big prospect goalie that we're looking for after Carey Price? Yes, he could be that. If he plays in the playoffs, if he does start in the playoffs, which honestly to me makes no difference because neither Dobish or Montembeault showed that they could keep the net. And if he gets, like Nick says, planted by 6 goals by the opposing team, that's how your character is made. Your character is made from that. Is how you're going to bounce back after you get planted by 6 goals. Are you coming back the next game and getting planted again with 7 goals? Or are you coming back and bouncing back? That's what you need from your goalie. You need to make sure your goalie knows how to put a bad start behind him for the next game. And that's what right now with Fowler, we don't know yet. He's young. He hasn't gotten the opportunity to play more than 2-3 games in a row before someone takes the net. So I think the comparison with Patrick Roy, I think it's a bit far-fetched. I understand what people are trying to do here. But I don't like it. I think it just puts extra pressure on a kid that doesn't need it. And he looks relaxed in the net. I mean, out of the 3 goalies, he's the one who looks more in control when he's in nets than Dobish or Montembeault, which makes your team feel comfortable in front of you. When your team sees you swimming in a pool on the ice, it's a bit frantic. So if he gets playoff starts, I'm okay with it, and if he gets planted in the playoffs, I'm okay with that too, because I want to see how the kid bounces back. So, no to the Patrick Roy, but yes, he could be the next big thing in Montreal, the next big goalie in Montreal after Carey Price.
The Canadians have to work on their defensive play because no matter who you put back there, the way they're letting these guys in on the rush,
Mm.
even if you had Hellebuck right now, like I'm not sure how much of that is going to change. But the truth is, as we speak, Jacob Fowler, out of the three goalies, Jacob Fowler gives the Canadians the best chance to win. So as long as he does that, he's going to be the guy, him and
Mm.
Dobish.
Yeah.
Dobish still seems to be the number one, but it looks like they might alternate.
It's going to
All
be an
right, so
interesting debate.
So, from Jacob Fowler of the Montreal Canadiens to a player who was born and raised in Quebec, Lafreniere has 11 points in his last 6 games. This was as of Friday, I believe. This success coincides with the departure of Panarin and the call up of Gabe Perreault. One, are you buying the resurgence of Lafreniere, or is it a trap? And two, is this success more a result of Panarin leaving or playing with a guy like Gabe Perreault? Vince, will go with you. I'm just going to summarize a bit what was said in the comments of the question of the day.
Clutch of the day.
Basically, the consensus is it's not a trap. There was a few people who said it was a trap, but the majority are saying that maybe Lafreniere, this is his breakout.
I'm in a hockey pool that has a hardcore Rangers fan in it, and we were talking, and basically what they said was he never got the opportunity to play power play one. The opportunity was never there for him because Panarin was there. Panarin was getting the first line minutes. Panarin was getting PP1, so he never had the opportunity to play with a guy like Zibanejad because Panarin was playing with him, especially at JT Miller's. So he's getting the opportunity. He's he's capitalizing on his opportunity, but also Gabe Perreault has come into this team and shown that he can be an NHLer, a talented NHLer. And I think both those things coincide with both their success right now. Also, Rangers have nothing to play for, whether we like it or not. I know no team is automatically eliminated right now from the playoffs, but we can sincerely say that the Rangers are not making the playoffs. So right now they're just playing out the season, and these players are there to remember. It's a new coach they have. Sullivan is his first year as a Rangers coach. So now is the time to prove to him that you deserve that PP1 next year, that you deserve to play power play one, line 1 minutes. So he's taking the opportunity. He was always talented, Lafreniere. To me, he just got drafted in a in a crappy situation with the Rangers jumping up 10 spots or 8 spots to finish to get the first round pick. So I don't think it's listen. I'm not saying Lafreniere is going to start putting up 82 to 90 points as of next year, but I see him easily putting up between 65, 70 points next year if this deployment continues. So it's going to be fun to watch for fantasy owners that have him, held on to him, cried over him, debated on trading trading him. And for the salary cap owners that at 7.4, we can all admit he wasn't worth that salary fantasy point wise. So it will be interesting to see what he does next year.
Nick, I know you was in trade talks when you were trying to trade McKinnon. So was Gabe Perreault. So what's your take on this stuff?
Yes, well, before the trade talks on McKinnon, there was also an LPHL trade where I
Yeah.
traded away Hellebuck for Blackwood and Lafreniere. And I think the important part is, um, if you take a look at Lafreniere, remember we said that we give him up to age 24. At least my thing is the age 24 season. If he ends up doing well, there's a reason why I picked that age. It's because that's the latest sometimes that people break out. 24 up to 25 years old, and it seems that he might be one of those late bloomers that comes in and like we said, maybe it's power play time, maybe it's the fact that he's blocking more. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he has almost double the amount of blocks than he did last year. He has less shots than he had last year. But Lafreniere has always been a little bit of a playmaker as well. He has that playmaking acumen to his game, and before it was always Panarin doing it. So now it's kind of a little bit more pressure is put on him, and he seems to be responding well because now the team seems to be his team as much as it is some of the younger guys that are coming. One key thing that I wanted to mention is that you guys mentioned, is he going to be worth it for $7.5 million? With the cap going up, $7.5 million is very worth it. Especially if he could reach that 70-point mark, right? If you take 70 points and you divide it by 7.5, it gives you a 9.3. You could compare that to other guys that are making a lot more money, and it's relatively similar production per dollar spent, right? And that's a cool way. Batista, Commissioner Batista from LPHL did this. From Pebble League did this. Basically, you take the guy's salary and you divide it by the amount of points that he had, and it comes up with a number. And then you can compare that number to see how worth it is with all the other players in the league. And you notice sometimes that guys that maybe have a better salary, like a lower salary, like a Suzuki, for example, if he puts up 90 points like he might this year, maybe it's even better having him than 100 point that's making $11 million, for example. So it's just a cool way to kind of look at that aspect of things. 7 points in his last 4 games. Just to touch on Perreault. Perreault is somebody I've always been interested in, and I made it very clear in my negotiations that I want him part of the package of any trade that I make. So yes, I believe in Perreault. I don't know if Perreault is going to be more than a 70-point player in his career. I don't think he will. But right now he's showing like he's going to be a real NHLer and be a fantasy asset to teams. So I'm looking forward to see how his career develops.
Well, our one rule with rookies is if they can hit the 45, 50-point mark on their rookie seasons, it's usually a telling sign of what they can be. And he's currently pacing for 45 points, and he didn't start the year with the Rangers, so that's a good sign. As for Lafreniere, when someone's that skilled, I feel like you need to have the puck on your stick often, right? Like when Panarin was there and he's not getting power play 1, everything's always going through Panarin. So now I just feel like he's more involved. Like you said, the block shots, that's probably because he's more engaged. He's more involved. He's getting the puck. He's feeling good about himself, and it leads to a bit more success. Now, if it's sustainable, we'll see about that, Before we move on, Nick, you hadn't sent me a message about their teammates. So when the Rangers signed Gavrikov, we thought that, it might boost his points because he was going to be paired with Adam Fox. And here he is. He's pacing for 37 points, which would be a career best. And he's on a bit of a run as of late. You want to just touch on that quickly, Nick?
I think you touched on it enough.
Okay.
No, he's been look. Gavrikov has always been known for his peripherals, right? So we have Gavrikov in the DPR league, which is the Dauber Prospects Report League, and we had him for his blocks, for his hits, and for his good play.
I thought you were going to say good looks.
His good looks, love a name Vladislav. I mean, come on, it's great. But he is at 66 games played. He's already reached 30 points. He has 13 goals. Vince,
Mm-hmm.
remember when we were talking about Noah Dobson the other day?
Yeah.
Off the podcast, and I had mentioned to you that Dobson has something like
11 goals. Yeah,
12 goals.
Yeah.
Gavrikov has 13 goals.
Wow.
It's like, wow. Wow is the right word. I never thought he had it in him, but he's proving to. Now, like, is that because Fox was injured for the majority of the year, so he took on more? But it's a good sign either way.
Another good sign is Jimmy Snuggerud, coming off a wrist injury, has 10 points in his last 6 games. How good can he really be, Vince?
He can
The
be
whole
good.
team, by the way, has been on fire. The Blues since the
Yeah,
deadline.
because nobody wants to leave St. Louis, so they all wanted to stay. Um, it can be good, but it's easier to play hockey when there's no pressure on you. St. Louis has no pressure. They're another team who's closer to the bottom than the playoff spot. So right now their young players especially are playing with house money, so they're getting liberties that they wouldn't have been getting if they were closer to a playoff spot or during the beginning of the season when everybody thinks they can make the playoffs. Do I think he's an NHLer? 100%. Do I think he's a top six? Yes. I'm still in limbo to see what kind of player he's going to be. Is he going to be this 30 goal scorer? Or is he going to be more of a playmaker and between the 60 to 70 points, which to me is still very high right now. So, but for sure, top six. The problem with St. Louis is who's he going to play with. If they get rid of Cairo, if they get rid of Thomas, then he's playing with Dvorsky. So it all depends the situation he finds himself in. But he's a banger. He throws his body around. He forechecks. So even in banger leagues, he could be helpful. So I think he's an NHLer top six for sure. I just don't know how high his point potential can go.
Nick?
So I think Snuggerud is well. I own him as well in Project Llama, but like he's on a 52-point pace right now. We've already said anybody over 45 is good for the rookie season, and this is his rookie season. Dauber Prospects has his prospect upside as 9.0 and his certainty at 95%. So I think he's going to be fantasy relevant. Now, we don't know the ceiling. He's only 21 years old still. That ceiling could move depending on how he develops moving forward and who his line mates are, like Vince accurately stated. Um, but what's known or what looks like so far is that with 55 games played, he has 15 goals in his rookie season. I think he's going to be a goal scorer. I think he's going to be one of those 30 goals guys when he hits his prime. Um, 30 points, 30 goals, maybe 70-point player, and hopefully more than that. Um, but he looks really really good right now, and I wanted to touch more on Dvorsky because Vince seemed to kind of like um, let him go a little bit there. Ever since the World Juniors, Dvorsky's actually been doing pretty well. And he's getting a little bit more of an opportunity with Shen being traded. So I want to see how he develops. But he's supposed to be a top sixer for sure. Now we'll see if he becomes a first liner or not.
Well, if
Yeah.
they're getting rid of Robert Thomas, it's because they think he could become their key to the rebuild. Like you're not getting rid of Robert Thomas if you don't think Dvorsky can play first line minutes.
Yeah, I mean, look, hockey prospecting has Dvorsky as uh, like a potential 40% chance of being a star. So
Mm-hmm.
it looks like he's this. It's still out there, but there's comparisons to William Nylander. There's comparisons to Ben Kindle. There's comparisons to John Leclerc uh, in these comps, and so we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
To your point of, just to go back on your point of Snuggerud's line mates, in his final quarter, so far in this final quarter of the season, his most common line mate is Dylan Holloway. So
He's been doing really
he
well.
he could succeed without Robert Thomas, from what we can see for now, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that does it for him. So let's go move on to another young guy who's had a bit of a roller coaster season. Came out of the gates flying. Everyone thought he'd be a 70-point player from the start, but he's got 8 points in his last 4 games as of Friday. He seems to have hit a bit of a sophomore wall there halfway through the season. He got hurt.
What? What?
Sophomore wall.
Oh, okay. All of a sudden they exist when they're your players.
Well, no, because I'm addressing the question to you. So, but his latest tallies are pacing him. So, yeah, you didn't let me finish. First of all, he made so basically
Fight,
Frank
fight,
Nazar
fight.
came out of the gate flying, then got hurt, hit a bit of a wall. See what I did there? But despite all that, with his most recent run of points, he's pacing for 54 points this year. Last year he paced for 40, so there is still a progression. Vince, who really is Frank Nazar? Like, what should people realistically expect from Frank Nazar going forward?
People should realistically be patient with Frank Nazar because he had such high upside, but he also had uh,
Floor?
a low floor
Oh,
comparable to become an NHLer. So, and the high upside was a lot to do because he was going on a team where he could have played with a Connor Bedard, and that's why his upside was so high. He is a talented player. The one thing that he needs to do is drive his own line. He can't depend to be playing on Bedard's line to be productive in the NHL. He needs to be able to drive his own line. I mean, he got picked 13th overall. He got picked with the Montreal pick that we got
yeah, for Kirby Doc.
for Kirby Doc. So, I mean, he's 22. He's still young. Uh, Getting 53 points in it's his second year, right? Or is this his rookie year?
No, last year he played 53 games, so this is his
Yeah.
sophomore year.
So he is he projected for 53 or he has 53?
He's projecting 52 now because they played
52.
today or
Okay.
yesterday.
So to be projected 52 on your second year is not a bad thing. It's a good progression for him. I just feel that he needs to work on driving his own line. Like he needs to be the head of his line and Bedard in front of him, and they'd have a good one-two punch. And on the power play, obviously play together. Injuries were a factor with him this year, but like I said, he came in with really high upside, but he also came with his floor that was a little lower than usual. So I think it's just be patient, wait. What do we say usually? It's the 200 game mark, 300 game mark that we wait and see and see how he progresses. Because even his team, the team he's on right now, there's not much talent on that team. Like when Tyler Bertuzzi and Teravainen are on your first two lines, the talent is very limited on that team also.
Yeah, he's played 100. Right now, he's played only 106 games,
Yeah, he's still young.
and he's center. So that's what they were trying to figure out at the beginning: is he a center or is he a winger?
Mhm.
And what it seems like now is that they've locked him in at center. His line mates are Bertuzzi and Teravainen,
Mhm.
and we'll see if they could unlock Nazar the center. Nick, is there
It,
anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, hockey prospecting has him at 3% chance of being a star. That's really, really low for somebody of his caliber. Basically, the model is just not very kind to Frank Nazar. Um, they have him listed as a potential Corey Stillman type player. If you guys remember who Corey Stillman was, but I still think that he's better than that. I still like Dauber still has him at 9.0 prospect upside, and 8 points in the last 6 games. The potential of 52-point pace. I still think that he's going to be a very good player with a potential 60 to 65 points in the NHL on a regular basis, which you have to look at your leagues to see if that's relevant for you in your leagues, right? In Project Llama, for example, it would be pretty relevant. So I like Frank. He's a speed demon. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen when Frendel comes onto this team next year. Does it push Nazar down? Does it maybe push other people to the wing? Because I don't know if you guys saw, but the TSN Craig Button came out with his list of drafted NHL players that are not in the NHL right now. They have Frendel as number one in that list. The other one is trying to remember. The Hockey News came out with their prospect rankings, and they had Frendel as number one as well. the number one guy that's out there. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see how that changes the aspects here. One thing's for sure is that Nazar, whether he's center or wing, he's going to be playing with some talented players in Chicago because they're going to be picking high again this year. So we'll see.
Another player who we don't know if is a center or wing and has a bit more of a sample size was officially a healthy scratch tonight versus the Canadians, Mason McTavish. What has happened to the third overall pick, Mason McTavish? I think he was drafted, 2021, third overall pick. Nick, tell me about McTavish. Is it time to just cut ties with him? Or I know you like the age 24, and he's not quite 24. He only turned 23. So tell me about McTavish. What should the listeners know? Are we still hanging on to him? Do we still have high hopes for him?
I need to find out in the past, 10 drafts, how many times the third overall pick was a bust.
Ooh, I can find that out for you. Keep on talking.
Yeah, can you look that up as a producer?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Because honestly, let's be serious here. This is not his sophomore season. It's not a sophomore slump. He's been in the league for 4 years now. I think that he's still a valuable player, guys. Don't get me wrong. Anaheim fans, do not start yelling at me. I think he's a valuable player. I just don't know if fantasy-wise he's going to ever turn into a 70-point player. And that has me scared. Because he's hit 52 points before, once. That was a great year. But he's getting to his last year. I'm still going to give him a chance for another year. Maybe 2. But if he doesn't hit 65, 70 points during that time...
How far you want me to go, Nick?
10 years.
Okay, so in 2015, Dylan Strome,
As
who,
third
if you
overall pick.
was third overall, and he's only getting in his groove once he got traded to Washington. Before that, he was oh wow, man, these third overall picks are on fire. The next one in 2016 is Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Guys, I'm
Also
telling
him,
you,
started
it's a
with
real
Columbus.
thing. The third overall curse. That's what I'm going to call it.
In 2027, this one was better. 2027 and 2017, Miro Heiskanen for Dallas.
Okay.
Ahead of Cale Makar. 2018,
That might
we
be a
have.
curse on its own.
Oh man, I don't want to do 2018.
Just say
I'm
it. Just say it.
skip 2018.
You know it. No,
KK?
say it.
Yeah, you know him. You know him too, Nick.
I know. Just
Kakanyemi.
say it. Yeah. KK.
Oh crap!
Third overall
Look,
pick, guys.
2019, 2019, Kirby Doc. Holy crap!
Third overall pick, guys.
Nick might be onto something. Whoever's getting third this year, do not draft him. Okay, this one not bad. 2020, Tim Stutzel.
Okay, yes. That's
Yeah,
a
that was
hit.
that was
That's a
solid.
hit.
That was a nice draft.
Yeah, that was a hit. Yeah, that was a very good draft. 2021, Mason McTavish. Then there was
It's almost like
2022.
after the top two,
Oh, the
people just
Slavkovsky
reach for
team.
need, and it comes to bite them.
This one hit. This one hit 2022 Logan Cooley. So that one was a good one. 2023. Well, these ones are 2023. Adam Fantilli. I think it's a little too early to say
bit
whether
early,
it's
yeah,
a hit or
to say.
bust with Fantilli. Yeah. So it's let me just
Yeah, I think Seneca-
curious. Let me see
Seneca was number
2020,
3 too, right?
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, 2014. It just that's a debunk year. We're not going to count that here. It was Leon Draisaitl, third overall
Okay.
with Edmonton.
Well, but basically, Nick was onto something, saying like the
But-
third
but
overall
most-
picks
but-
more often than not are. are
Nick, I got you. I got your back, Nick. 2013, Jonathan Drouin.
I think Galchenyuk was a third
So,
overall,
yeah.
wasn't he?
It's a real
Galchenyuk
thing.
was a third
In
overall.
2012.
No, wasn't got
No, or second.
yeah, the year
No, it was
yeah,
no,
yeah,
it was third because Riley was
Yakupov was
second
first.
and Yakupov.
Yakupov was first. Yeah, Riley was second. No, not Riley. Murray.
Ryan
the
Murray went
defenseman for
second.
Columbus.
Wow,
Yes.
What a bad year.
that was a
Ima-
terrible.
Yeah.
Imagine you were tanking that year on purpose and you got these guys.
God help that person.
A full year wasted. Anyways,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I
So
hope
all
that
that
was a
to
fun
say,
little,
the
fun
book's
little
still
segment
out
there.
on McTavish.
Bust.
So here's a player that nobody has any doubts on. He actually hit a milestone of 1,100 points. Nikita Kucherov, one of the most underappreciated players of his generation. He has one Hart Trophy already. Do you think his 142-point pace as of Friday, because that's when the notes were done, is enough to win him another Hart Trophy this year? Nick?
Sorry. So, is this question like specifically for listener Umbi? I feel like we're trying to like pump him up again, or something. How is
Oh,
Kucherov
I'm gonna hit him.
underappreciated?
I'm gonna hit him
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
hurts later.
Exactly. Yeah.
How is
I don't know
Kucherov
what.
underappreciated? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because I do feel he's underappreciated. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's underappreciated. A, because he's Russian, and B, because McDavid and McKinnon and Draisaitl take up so much attention that Kucherov is not nearly being spoken of enough. He's
I
not.
don't know. I don't
He
know
has
about
64
that.
points in his last 31 games. If you want to know what a
Yeah.
hot streak looks like,
Yeah.
I mean the
I don't
guy
know.
had over 100 points in his last 4 years. Not combined. Every single year, he's had more than 100 points. I don't know if it's like fantasy managers know this guy is not underappreciated.
Yeah.
Not in fantasy land, but
No. I feel even in the NHL, I think he got voted from the players. The year he won the Hart as the the players have a vote on one of the trophies.
Ted Lindsay award.
Yeah, he won that one. He won that too. So I I find it's a bit. I understand what you're trying to say, but when you play in when you're playing in the same year as a McKinnon, a McDavid, in Draisaitl, it's just you could say you got the shit end of the stick basically, right?
But he has the
Because
same points as these guys.
exactly, but he's
But
keeping up with
that's
them. So and like I think it was someone on the radio that was saying McKinnon only won his first Hart Trophy when he was like 29 years old, I think, or 28 years old. It was later on in his career that he won it, even though he was dominating the years before. It's just Kucherov. I don't think he's underappreciated. I think Tampa Bay goes the same way Kucherov goes. If
Guys, there's only two
Kucherov,
trophies that matter.
yeah,
Okay, the first trophy is the Stanley Cup. That matters.
yeah,
The
but it doesn't
second
matter when
trophy,
it doesn't matter
second
when you're
trophy,
$18 million over the cap.
the second trophy that matters is all the trophies that we give out on our mid and year end show.
Exactly.
Those trophies matters. The real NHL trophies, they're all gimmicks. Like the Hart Trophy doesn't make sense every single year, so who cares?
all right. Do you care about Martin Necas, who just hit 30 goals this year and is pacing for a career best 106 points? That's like Mikko Rantanen numbers, guys. Has the cream finally risen to the top? Vince.
Once again, opportunity. With Carolina, he was held down because of the system, and I mean, we preached this from the beginning. Carolina, he was held down by the system that they played and by the deployment that Brett Moore uh, gave him. In Colorado, it is much more open. He has more freedom, and he's playing with God sent talent in McKinnon and Makar. So I'm not surprised. Yes, he always had talented. We always knew he was a great player, but the system in Carolina just held him back. And the question is, how many players in Carolina is this system holding back fantasy wise? If you think of it, look at the Carolina team. Like Svechnikov, is this a Svechnikov situation in Carolina where if he goes to a team like Colorado, he'd be breaking out like Nature's did this year? It would be an interesting conversation to have with some
It's
of the
not
players
holding
that
him
are in
back this
Carolina.
year.
No, this is why he's coming out this year out of his shell. But Nature's is just everybody knew he had the talent. The deployment in Colorado and his surrounding cast is just better.
Nick?
Nick's gonna fall asleep.
No, Habs lost in regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, yeah, heartbreaking.
And Toronto's beating
Um,
Minnesota 3-2.
um, Martin, I don't buy this system thing that Vince is talking about.
How?
Um, it's very simple. Like when I take a look at stats, um, the team stats for Carolina show me that they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league. So the system works from an offensive perspective, but you're right that it doesn't fit everybody necessarily. But it's not because maybe that player doesn't fit in that system, not the other way around. Um, when I look at, I'm trying to find exactly what their goals are this year, um, but I don't have it open here in front of me. But anyways, in the end, here wait, team stats, goals. Where's goals? Goals for. They are fourth in the league in goals for. So I don't buy this that the system is the problem and all that stuff. To me, they're a high scoring team, and there's good players on that team that fit, and there's others that don't. And Nekesh unfortunately didn't fit. So he fits in Colorado though, and that works for Colorado, which is great.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think it's
With the system, Nick, it's with the system Carolina plays. They roll four lines. He was playing 17 minutes. With Colorado, he's playing between 20 and 21 minutes and a half. With Carolina, never had power play one time. With Colorado, has power play one time. Has 12 power play goals. Maximum he had with Carolina was 8. That's what I'm talking about the system. Brendan Moore either didn't trust his 2 feet game, 200-foot game, so because the system they play, and that's why he wasn't as productive with Carolina. You can't tell me
Yeah, he
that
didn't
Nature's
fit. He
just
didn't
got
fit in
went to
Carolina,
Colorado. Yeah, but because of the system, so the system failed him.
but it's not. It's
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 not.
not that
It's,
Carolina doesn't
I'm
score
not saying
all
the
kinds of
system is a
goals.
bad.
They're one of the
No, but
highest
Carolina.
scoring teams in the league every year.
How many? Yes, and how many 40 goal scorers do they have? Because they play a team game.
Well,
They
Nekesh is not
roll
a
four
40 goal
lines.
scorer. He's a 30 goal scorer.
No, I know, but yeah, I'm just saying. Like you're saying that
He had
they score.
28 in Carolina 3 years ago.
I understand, but you're saying they're the highest goal scoring team. The second highest goal scoring team in the NHL probably has a 40 goal scorer on their team. Carolina's system is I play four lines and my four lines have to be productive. That's how they get to where they are.
I don't know how productive the other
I, I,
lines
I
are, but
think I think it's more about the amount of energy they consume playing the system, not necessarily the system itself, because they're a high forechecking team. So it's always on the go, which is why he rotates four lines so everybody stays as fresh as possible. And maybe that's where it comes into play a little bit. I don't know, but there's still guys that are very productive there. And mind you, we thought Stankoven would have fit nicely there, but he's not producing as much as we thought he would. Story for another day. Let's move on to Logan Cooley, who yet again slid into the net, left the game injured yesterday. Didn't look good. Looked awfully similar to the last time this happened earlier this season. Nick, is he entering papier-mâché territory here? Loose leaf paper? Are we starting to be worried about, is this a Jack Hughes? Is this trending towards a Jack Hughes type situation where you're not aware or strong enough on your feet?
so the only thing I'll say is that Logan Cooley is 21 years old. I mean, the guy is a child still, and when you're that his body still needs time to fill out, right? Like Logan Cooley at 25 years old, and Logan Cooley now is going to be two totally different Logan Cooleys. So I don't think that it's fair to necessarily say he's a band-aid boy after 20 at the age of 21, about to turn 22. But if this continues, obviously it's something to keep an eye on. Um, and he has in his second year he had 65 points. This is his third year now. He's played only half the games that he played in his first year. and he has 29 points. So it's pretty on par, I guess. But I could guarantee you that owners of Logan Cooley are not very happy right now that he's injured, um, and that he's been getting injured often lately. So we'll see. Still some time.
His teammate Nick Schmaltz signs an 8-year extension at 8 million AAV. A little higher than I was expecting. Not by much though, but is that cap hit too high for fantasy purposes, Vince?
Excuse me, I was sneezing. Um, it would that cap hit would be too high 2 years ago, but with the projected cap ceiling going up, I think it's an okay one. If he could produce the way he produces now, I don't think it's gonna hurt uh, Utah, especially that he's like a Swiss Army knife, right? He can play anywhere that you ask him to and be productive at it. For fantasy, he's a dream because I think he's one of the only ones that has a center, left wing, and right wing possibility all the time. So I think I'm trying to get his stats here just to see what he's been doing, but
So
I
while
think
you
his
do
flex.
that, go ahead.
I think just his flexibility where he can play any position is is good
Well,
for Utah.
I want to touch
I
on that before you go on the stats because on 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Elliot Friedman spoke about this and he said one of the biggest um, things about this negotiation was that Schmaltz wanted to be a center. It was more
mm,
about that than it was about the money or the term.
Well,
And it
centers
seems
also
to,
get paid more.
yeah, right.
yeah,
It's part
exactly.
of the
So
negotiation.
just a little caution to the wind that maybe he might not be eligible for wing and center in the near future. We'll see.
For a 30-year-old to sign an 8-year contract, it's long and I mean that's why maybe the average AVV went down because they signed an 8 year instead of a 7 year. Um, he's never been a he's he doesn't stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. Like since he started his NHL career with Arizona, like steady in 2019, 2020. He played 70 games, 52, 63, 63, 79. Last year was the first year he played 82 games, and it seems like this year he might hit 82 games also. He's on career numbers this year. He's at 59 points in 67 games played. His career high is 63 points in 82 games. He already beat his goals. He has 24 goals, which is the most in his career at 30 years old. My only issue is we always say it once you hit 30, the older you get, the faster your production decreases. So they'll be interested to see how they use him.
Nick, do you want to touch at all on Schmaltz or?
No, I mean, a good bottom of your lineup player, 60 to 65 points most likely year after year. Like in LPHL and in Lama, which are our two main leagues, he's I think he's a free agent or was a free agent at the beginning of the year in both those leagues. So we'll see. I just don't think like he's more of a watch list guy, waiver wire guy. I don't see him as a core piece moving forward for any fantasy team.
Okay, well, this is not. This is probably going to be a core piece for your fantasy teams moving forward. Cole Hudson signs a 3-year entry-level contract with the Washington Capitals, and Artur Akhtiamanov, goaltender, signs his ELC with the Toronto Maple Leafs, which begs the question: when will his time come with the new contracts they gave to Woll and Stolars? Let's start with you, Nick. Hudson and Akhtiamanov. What do you think about these guys? Are they going to get their opportunity, and what should we expect from them?
Well, first thing that we should say is Washington Capitals, man, congratulations. Congratulations. Um, According to Hockey Prospecting, this Cole Hudson player has a 93% chance of being a star, with his comparisons being Bobby Orr and Phil Housley. So if ever you wanted to get excited and overhyped about somebody, Cole Hudson is the one to be excited about. We mentioned it during our last week's episode. Trading away John Carlson opens the door for Cole Hudson to come in and play um, games this year. They're going to burn a year off of his entry level by playing him this year. And Cole Hudson is a fantasy dynasty star moving forward. Um, Almost guaranteed. Almost guaranteed that like 93% chance of being a star. So very excited about Cole Hudson. He's a main piece of my rebuild. I've held on to him for a long time. This guy was drafted in the second round, 43rd overall, guys. Like much like his brother, people were sleeping on these defensemen because of size. We'll see how it translates now to the NHL because Lane translated very well. Um, as far as Akiyamanov, these players, Toronto Maple Leafs, like Wool is a great homegrown Toronto Maple Leaf goaltender. Hildeby, I think, is going to be a good goaltender in the future. And now they have another one. Toronto just finds these guys and does a really good job. So I think that there could be a bright future for this player in the near future because I don't think Stolars is the answer necessarily moving forward for Toronto.
Vince, you want to touch on them?
Yeah, the problem with the goalies in Toronto is that
Your mic, you have to bring it back down. Your headset, the mic on your headset, you gotta. That's it.
bring on, yeah. Yeah, I got it there. Sorry. Yeah, so the problem with Toronto is that they've got three goalies that are signed, and now they signed another one. They just Stolarz next year is starting his new contract, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work. Like Nick says, they I mean, damn, they have the goalies, but it seems every time they just want to put in nets, they forget how to play goaltender. So it'll be interesting. He's doing well in the AHL. I think his save percentage is .908. His goals against is 2.86, which is a little high, but it's the AHL, so it's not so bad. So it's a wait and see. He's 24 years old. So they all have they have four very mature goalies. So now it depends. With this signing, what does this mean? Does this mean it's one like is Wool out of the like someone has to be out? They can't just keep these four and have Hilgeby and this guy in the AHL. It makes no sense. So
Well,
someone has to be out. So who's out?
it gives them options, right? I mean, Joseph Woll is on a good contract, 27 years old, 3.6 million for the next 3 years. Stolars is on a good contract. He's 32. He's going to be making 3.75. Hildeby and Aktyamanov are both still on entry-level contracts. So Hildeby is at 840K for till 2028, 2029, and now Aktyamanov till 2029, 30. So, I mean, it gives them cap flexibility for sure going forward, all depending on what they want to do in the near future here.
Yeah, exactly.
But it
Yeah,
might be more of an
so
AHL thing than an NHL thing.
yeah, maybe. Is it a two-way contract that he signed? Do we know?
It's an entry-level
I
contract,
hope.
so it can go up or
Oh,
down.
it's an entry level. Okay. So yeah. So and for Cole Hudson, it's listen. He has the talent. The problem I see with Washington is that they have Jacob Chicherim, who's only 27 years old. So I mean, he's not going to be taking over PP1 with Chicherim, who has 23 goals and 28 assists in one season. I don't think it'll be like his brother Lane, who had, in comparison, just a Matheson to get over to take that PP1 game spot. So I think they're going to bring him up slowly. They're going to give him his opportunity. But I mean, he's proven that he can play hockey. He's proven he could be in the superstar level. I just don't think it'll be as quickly as his brother because of the people in front of him in Washington, whereas the people that Lane had in front of him weren't as competitive as the one in Washington.
Are you guys worried about his dip in play this year? He went from
Who's the
48 points in 39 games to 32 points in 35 games. Cole Hudson, sorry.
Um, No, not so much. I mean, it also they've also he's also played on a team that lost half their players to the NHL, if I'm not mistaken. No, like I think their top five forwards were lost to the NHL teams, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. So it wouldn't worry me too much. I mean, the Hudsons have proven they're professionals; they know how to adapt. So he'll do well in Washington. He'll just have to bide his time, and when he gets the opportunity, he'll shine.
Nick, I'm curious on your take. Do you think having Chikrin there is going to hinder Hudson whatsoever in his development
Well,
or
I
in his
don't think he's
production?
coming in next year necessarily and taking over power play one. I think that's something that's going to be developed within the next couple of years. Um, so I don't see a need to rush the prospect. If he's in your dynasty league, just let him cook a little bit longer until he's ready to come out and just take over. But like Vince said, Chikrin is a great player, so Washington doesn't feel the pressure to throw him in there right away. If Cole Hudson ends up having similar talent to Lane, there's no Chikrin that's going to stop Cole Hudson from taking over that spot in the end. So we'll see how it goes, but it's going to be very, very fun to watch Washington games the next couple of days.
I just want to end the odd man rush by saying John Carlson has 46 points. Jacob Chikrin has 51 points. They've been playing on the same team all year. There is room to have two defensemen produce at this level if they wanted to, and they often deployed both on the power play. So I wouldn't be too scared about that. I think if Cole is good enough, he's going to play.
And that ends it for our Odd Man Rush.
Odd Man Rush. Odd Man Rush.
Now, time for our sponsor.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
If Junior remembers.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with the DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Burial Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL. All rights reserved.
All right.
That Nick affectionately calls Pebble, but no one else likes it. Partial breakaway listener.
Welcome to our PBLL Listener League, Partial Breakaway Listener League. For those of you that don't know what it stands for, I will be hosting this segment today, and we are here to talk about this week's PBLL Finals stats. Um, I'm going to start off with a couple of things because all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but Mel was in the lead the entire week, and I just refreshed the stats right now, and all of a sudden, listener Bats one comes out of nowhere and takes over for this period, and Mel falls to number two, Parmigiana at number three, listener Bats two at number 4 and Yanni at number 5. That's pretty interesting, guys. I'm very curious to see what his team looked like last week. So let's go right into that. It looks like Celebrini is a staple on his team, as is he is on most people. Connor McDavid, what $12.5 million Connor McDavid was on his team. Matt Boldy, Cutter Gauthier with a game-winning goal against Montreal tonight. Drake Batherson had himself a week. Lane Hudson, Kirill Marchenko, Lacombe did pretty well as well, and Scott Wedgwood. So, very, very good week from listener bats. Moving on to what we could expect from this week's schedule. So this week we have certain teams playing, quite a few teams actually playing 4 games. Thank you, Tanya, for that. Um, Boston is playing 4 games. Buffalo's playing 4 games. Calgary is playing 4 games. Carolina's playing 4 games. Chicago is playing 4 games. Colorado is playing 4 games. Columbus is playing 4 games. Dallas is playing 4 games. Let me stop for a sip of water here. LA is playing 4 games. Nashville is playing 4 games. Islanders and Rangers are playing 4 games. The Penguins are playing 4 games. The Lightning, the Mammoth, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Winnipeg Jets. Those are your teams that are playing 4 games that you could look at to possibly stream in some really good players from those teams. It's a lot of teams, so your options are quite open there. Who to avoid? Well, St. Louis is only playing 2 games this week, and that's the only team playing 2 games this week. So those of you that liked Snuggerud's performance and Robert Thomas's performances in the last couple of weeks and Holloway's, maybe you go a different direction this time around. Guys, I'm going to start with you guys. Junior, what is your lineup looking like this week? What's your strategy this week? Should people even listen to you because it doesn't look like you're anywhere near the top?
They shouldn't, but
None of us are.
you know who should have listened to me and didn't, and he's in the top 10 or was in the top 10 when we started the week. Listener Umbi, when I said
Boy.
when you try to overthink things and be a little bit different, it could come to cost you. And that was the debate we were having the last couple of weeks.
Mhm.
If you're gonna not take Celebrini because you think everybody else is gonna have Celebrini, but then you go take a Fantilli and then Celebrini outpoints him by like 8 or more, you just lost 8 points on the people ahead of you. So you should have listened to Junior last week, listener Umbi. This week, I'll tell you who my lineup is. I focused on Colorado. I like Colorado. They have a good schedule. I have McKinnon. I have Natchez. Those are the main guys. I want to ride Perreault's hot streak of Gabe Perreault of the New York Rangers. Minnesota has a nice schedule. I think they play Chicago twice, even though they only played 3 games. I like Kaprasov. Celebrini's a staple. Hudson's a staple. Schaefer's a staple. I needed a goalie that doesn't make a lot of money, so I went to Bussi. And I kind of mixed and matched some players, but the strategy was the same for the other team. I took Wedgwood as my goalie instead of Bussi, and I touched on some Carolina players because I kind of like their schedule too.
Very nice, very nice. Vince,
Listen, you should not be listening to my suggestions, obviously, because I'm nowhere close to the top. So I'm gonna go with. I'm just gonna just Buffalo players. I mean, they have the first game out west is tough against Vegas, but then they play San Jose Kings and Ducks. San Jose and Ducks, it's always a wide open game that they allow a lot of goals, they score a lot of goals. So I play some Tage Thompson, Josh Norris, and Aline, and then obviously those guys make a lot of money. So all the rest is ELC players that you can find. The other teams that you might be able to that might be looking at just to scrape some players from might be Colorado. I mean, they play Dallas, but also they play Pittsburgh, Chicago, and Washington in the other 3 games, which are not difficult games. So you might get good value with some of those players. And I mean, like I said, I'm at the bottom, guys. All 3 of my teams, so it's not like you can take most of my suggestions. But right now we're there. We're at the end of the racetrack. How many guys are in contention now, Nick? Would you say, with 5 weeks left? Because Vito P seems like I think he's holding the record right now for staying in first the longest in this league.
Well, Vito P is at 2,737 points. Right behind him is Bo Nose at 2,711 points. And then Listener Bats is about 10, 20 points behind that. So I would say there's a good 4 or 5, 6 teams that might have a realistic chance of getting that 100 points difference. And all 3 of them are Listener Bats teams that are in there as well. So that's pretty crazy.
Just to give you guys an idea and the listeners an idea, they had an average week, Bo Nose and Vito P. They had a 128 points, 127 points, and Listener Bats ended with 148. That's a 20-point gain right there. So for the top 3, that's a big difference. So it is possible to kind of, chop your way at the top.
It is possible. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the Pebble League this year, guys. It's been a lot of fun so far. So I hope that next year we get more traction. We had a lot of teams this year. 43 teams joined us. So I'm hoping that number keeps going up.
It's fun. It's fun. Honestly, it's pretty fun. It took a while before people were like not officially, but like considered themselves out of the running. I know I'm out of the running, but there's always a miracle that can happen.
Yeah, I'll just touch on my team very quickly. I didn't actually talk about it, so I realized I kind of skipped my team. I'm pretty down there, so no need to listen to me at all. But I'm going with I like Colorado as well, but who I like more this week is Winnipeg. I think they have a better schedule. Tampa Bay has a really good schedule as well. So those are 2 teams that I focused on with Darren Radish. I grabbed the Morrissey. I grabbed Hagel, Kyle Connor. Celebrini is always on my lineup. Wedgwood is always in my lineup from now on. These are players that just for bang for buck, they just seem to make it work, right? And I think that's what you realize in this league. It's all about bang for buck. Next year, I'm going to have a much better understanding of how to tackle this league moving forward. And maybe ride hot streaks a little bit more as well, but we'll see. Guys, that pretty much does it. If you stayed this long, please like, subscribe, give us a little bit of feedback. Like, how did you like Pebble this year, Is Mason McTavish actually a bust? Should Junior just throw him away? Maybe put him on waivers or something. I don't know.
Guys, the top three teams of PBLL, they have like the most games played out of everybody on our out of most people in our league. So maybe the 4 games a week does play a factor.
Maybe
It's
my
something where
strategy
we'll
was...
look at the analytics in the off season. We'll look in the analytics and we'll come up with some data. Nick's like, just shut up.
Vince,
Oh, yes, I'm ready this time. Wait, I had it here. There we go. Nick, why did the banana go to the doctor? Because it wasn't peeling well.
oh, jeez.
I like that one, actually.
Guys,
We'll see you on our
just don't
midweek
judge
show,
us on
guys.
these. Have a good night, everybody.